What is up, everybody? As I meet myself, that was very professional, yes. Going live by myself tonight. Breen is having Thanksgiving with his sister. Uh, didn't really do much for Thanksgiving today. Kind of slept in, read some comic books, and ate some food. So I'll be flying solo tonight. Only got 9 books tonight, though. And hello to One Slick Dude, who is in the chat. Anyone else who might be watching, other than me on my phone. All right. Happy Thanksgiving. So I guess we'll just jump right into this then, since there's really no small talk, since there's no one in the chat. All right. So I have 9 books this week. Kind of light for me. Usually I have a lot more, but we'll get through this. All right. So I'm gonna start off with a Frank Thierry book for number 9. It's not really a Thanksgiving book, but it's right around the corner. It is a Vampirella Holiday 2025 special. Honestly, this is the second time they've done one of this. I guess they did one before, to my knowledge, for Vampirella, and it's a continuation. So if you watch the first or the first book, it's pretty much the same. So last year in the other one, Santa Claus was attacked by vampires, and he was turned into a vampire. And I remember, as far as specifically in that book, that Vampirella had to kill the what's his name, Santa Claus, and because Mrs. Claus pretty much hired him to kill him. So now that he's already pretty much back in the, as far as he's back in the picture for some reason. I don't know how he survived it, but he's human again. But last year, as always, we started off with the chorus, the Rudolph thing they have, or Frosty the Snowman, and he talks about what happened last year. And of course, he says nobody knows that the main head vampire was actually me. So of course, he gets taken out by a flamethrower, and it's Santa Claus and Vampirella. And you're like, what the heck? This randomly they just mow down Bing Crosby with a flamethrower. It goes back to 12 days earlier, because it's 12 days of Christmas. And she is kind of like celebrating because pretty much right now there's really no Christmas whatsoever. And everything's on sale. Everything she uses for like killing all the bad guys. This is kind of cool. But I mean, fortunately, Jason Aaron's writing it. But for those who like Thunder the Barbarian, he's getting his own book now, Dynamite. Yeah, could be good. It is kind of funny though. You're looking like, yeah, Thundercats and Thunder the Barbarian are actually comic books in like 2025. All right. So of course, Vampirella is approached by, well, the console of holidays. We got Halloween up there. We got Groundhog Day. We have Valentine's Day, Easter Bunny. Leprechaun. Yeah. And she pretty much just kills them all. Even though they basically were sent there to bring her to this meeting. And we see this like a little baby hand is holding a cigar. And then we see Thanksgiving. And I guess the Grim Reaper is supposed to be Halloween. I thought the pumpkin one where it was, but he must be a minion for Halloween. Then we have the Cupids over there. They're the ones that are always basically fornicating. They're that's how love spread, I guess, in the earth. And then we have a makeshift Easter Bunny, and then it's revealed they're at a Chuck E. Cheese of all places, which I thought was hilarious. I'm like, yeah, Chuck E. Cheese is run down there, and it's the New Year's baby. The New Year's baby's in charge ever since Santa Claus, was taken out, and they want Vampirella to go basically find the big man and restore order. because everything's messed up. Of course, Vampirella shows up and she tosses in poor Groundhog Day, tosses his head on the counter, and then she pretty much says, like, I'm actually kind of enjoying this. I'm like cringing as she's eating the cheese pizza at Chuck E. Cheese, because everybody knows if you've ever had the pizza at Chuck E. Cheese, you don't want to touch it or even look at it. It looks gross. Yeah. So here's the head of it. And I love the turkey and stuff. It's just, yeah. It's like I said, this is Frank Thierry. Normally I don't really read all books by him, but every once in a while I get a Dynamite book for him, and he's actually pretty good. I like him more than Fred Van Lente. We also got another Vampirella Winter Special coming up, too. This one is not written by Frank Thierry, though. This is Liam Johnson. So, and yeah. So anyway, yeah. So basically, explain how everything's messed up, all the holidays are running together. So, skipping ahead, we come to we're trying to find. She has to find out where Santa Claus is. Since there's Santa's workshop shut down because no one's there. Mrs. Claus left, divorced him. Santa and they basically turned everything that's keeping the place going. Christmas Town has been a strip club or a fetish show, and of course that's where he finds Santa dancing around with a Yuletide covering his crotch on a pole. I'm just like, what am I reading here? It just went so weird, but she ends up talking the elf, says like, hey, I need him. So, and then they get attacked by a bunch of vampires in Christmas Town because the vampires are still there. And just when I thought everything was pretty much like they're to be surrounded, New Year's Baby shows up and reveals that he is actually like the main villain here. And yeah, he says, "I knew Santa was vulnerable. You see, he was off his game, and he was having problems with Mrs. Claus, and then with the workshop. So I recruited Halloween. He provided the vampires to take over Christmas Town, in exchange for Spirit Halloweens to take over the Christmas stores that were gonna be out of business soon. And once you and Santa were out of the way, there's nobody who'd be able to stop me." So of course, Vampirella, being pissed off, beats the shit out of the baby. And they're all like, "What the fuck? He's just a baby." They beat the crap out of him. And it's like, oh, oops again. That was his little meat and hobbit stuff, And the joke is that the New Year's Baby has a poopy diaper that he can't get anybody to help him change. So now he's stuck working at the Chuck E. Cheese for the rest of his life. Or mortal life. Spirit Christmases, they work out together. So it's instead of being Spirit Halloween, it's Spirit Christmas. The elves are back together. Santa's got a new wife, and there's this the creepy snowman that was at the strip club watches them as they go at it. It's such a weird. It's turned into such a perverted thing. And at the end, the new New Year's Baby is Vampirella, and of course, Frosty, the guy, the Bing Crosby, one in the beginning. He's still alive, but he's frozen to the ground permanently. It was all right. It was an okay book. All right. Number 8 is DCKO tie-in. This is Justice League Unlimited, number 13. Once again, I'm only getting this book because it has Batman Beyond, and I was really enjoying the time displays as well. Power Girl, too as well. All the heroes on this cover are time displays except for Mr. Terrific. Since and Mr. Terrific needed them for a special mission, they're gonna go after Neron, who pretty much has made a deal with these supervillains and give them powers in exchange for souls, so they're murder people. And so they said they're going to go to confront them in hell. The boom tube was infused with basically bits of DNA of John Constantine. That's how they're able to get into hell. Don't ask me why that works, but so you have Alan Scott, you have All Woman, you have Guy Gardner Warrior, you have Kara Zor-El Power Girl, and Aquaman with the harpoon hand. So, and a lot of the narration in the beginning here is told from Alan Scott's point of view. This Alan Scott is not gay. There's no mention of it whatsoever, which I was kind of thankful for because I don't need to know about character sexuality every 2 pages or even every 5 minutes on a page. I don't. That just drags me on the story. But so they're in hell, and they're realizing it's basically bad because they didn't think they're actually going to literal hell, but they are, and it's revealed that the characters they're fighting against are the Warrior 3, or the, she says, what's here? The Demons 3. The League have defeated them numerous times, but here they have the Home Field Advantage and the Mystic Treasures. They have, Silver Wheel of Nilrath, the Green Belt of Unthul, and then it says the Red Jar of Calithius. And they're trying to advance. Oh, yeah, I forgot Superman Blue's in this, too. And so as they're going through, pretty much everyone's pretty much freaking out. Remember, it's Tim Drake, Batman Beyond. It's not even Terry, it's Tim. So he's a little bit of a noob under the collar. And we also have Dr. Fate, who is, I believe, it's the female Dr. Fate. I'm not sure which one it is. I think it's Khalif. I'm not sure. Yeah. All right. What's up, what's up to Jackson? What's up to Marania? And what's up to the bot that's in the Twitch? All right. Or I'm assuming you're bot because you're talking about your cousin who's a big Twitch streamer or Twitcher. Yeah. And if you receive this text, kindly get back to me. We're not on a phone. This is a stream. I don't know. So that's why I'm thinking you're a bot. Anyway, so that's going on. We have Red Tornado's finally been restored. They fixed the damage to the watchtower after Time Trooper pretty much went nuclear and was just tearing apart everything. And we get a little update what's going on with the heroes. We get the chase of the challenges they've known. And it talks about a lot of the heroes are just been dealing with the super power superheroes, and a lot of them you have against the villains. You have Dr. Cult, you have Kid Flash, Wallace West, Martian Manhunter, and then the villains are Chroma, Dr. Spectral, and Rainbow Rider, and they're like just souped up through demon energy, and the heroes are having problems. And I love it because like it's very, very much as far as personification or personality of John is pretty much telling everybody, it's like, dude, you got to realize that these three manipulate emotions, and even John gets to come to them because they are amped up. It's like, but the end, they're able. Wallace is able to run away and just knock him out, come back his super speed, punch him out. Kind of a cheap, kind of ending, but they're kind of trying to push the story ahead. Meanwhile, back in hell, Tim Drake is just freaking out. Alan Scott says, "We don't have time for your shit. We need to get going." Yep. So then there is because the reason Tim's messed up is because, well, I think I passed it up here. Yeah. So needlessly, in this, I forgot this page. This is one of the reasons I really didn't like this book as much, because a lot I noticed in the DKO stuff, everyone's being murdered and destroyed. It's meaningless. Just like Supergirl or Kyra and Guy Gardner sacrifice themselves, let the other three, and then she just gets ripped in half, and so is Guy. And I really felt that, because that was just like, oh, really? She had this, and like this last issue, she had a big explanation or basically emotional scene. So did Guy. So, but as Alan Scott, he knows, he says they're all time displays. They're going to die regardless. So let them die doing what they bring, being a hero. So that's what he tells to Tim Drake. He tells him to get off his ass. He's like, is that what your mentor taught you to do? Is sit there and be a scared little boy? He said we need to save people. So they come across another demon who's like a little like vampire girl with a Medusa with snakes coming her eyes. And they're trying to get past her. So she's basically, they trick her into basically how about we play a game. And Terrific's like, she's like, well, okay, but because she can read minds, because she thinks she's gonna win. So Terrific's like, is like, hey, how about we play a little game, I'm going to say something, and all you have to do is guess whether or true it's true or not. And if you can't, open the gate. And she's like, okay. She's like, if you lose, and then they'll have snakes, and rats and bugs will live inside your skin and eat you from the inside forever. He says, okay, all right. So his statement there is like, he's like, I love this. He's like, all right, this statement is false, true or false. And she starts freaking out because she can't answer it. And she's like, you tricked us, and he's like, none of that matters because all of them basically use that distraction to get past. And as she realizes this, Alan Scott ends up sacrificing himself. Mainly because she figures out, because he stupidly said out loud earlier in the issue, it's, oh, wood's my only weakness. And so she uses wood and she just rips him apart. So yeah, it just seems like this whole entire page, or it's just basically a Suicide Squad, but everyone's dying. So all you have left right now is Mr. Terrific, Owlman, Aquaman, Dr. Fate, and Hawkman, and Owlwoman, and Superman Blue. But yeah, so at the end we see Neron, who's been watching this whole entire time. So the art of this is really good. Though that's one thing I gotta say. This is Dan Moore doing the art and the interior in this. The story, not really meaningful. It kind of falls apart for me. One of the reasons I don't like doing tie-ins or reading tie-ins, because it puts the major story on hold. So I really don't care about that. I'm more like interested because with the time displacement stuff, heroes, I want to learn more about them. And instead of them just going off and do a suicide mission the next issue and then just immediately just being butchered off. Especially Power Girl and Guy Gardner, who are, to my opinion, were the best on this time displaced. I don't give a crap about the Superman Blue, whatever it is. Alan Scott was really cool though. Like I said, it was a much more older Alan Scott from a far-flung future, further up. But yeah, all right. Number 7 this week is Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong 2. I guess they remembered that they actually were doing this book because this issue 5 finally came out. It feels like it's been more than a month since I've actually read this. And it starts off with basically Batman in the local center they're on the world, Godzilla's world, because that's the thing we got to keep separate about this. There's a multiverse storybook. So they're on a different universe that has all the monsters, but there's no superheroes. And Harley Quinn shows up, and she's about to hit him, and she pretty much says, she says, I need to help me find Mr. J. He's like, what, Joker's on here? He's like, oh, no, not the Joker we know. There's a Joker on this universe that's never became the Joker, a normal guy. Meaning that she basically wants to start over and live here and never go back to her main universe. She wants to be with this Jack Napier. Meanwhile, we have King Kong sees Radon, I guess, flying, or some other creatures flying over. And at the time right now, we have on Monster Serum, we have Superman battling against Ghidorah. And then we also I forgot what the other guy's name is. Little guy, is it? It's, it starts with the R. Now I can't remember what it's called. I want to call him Radon, but I don't think that's the real name. But yeah, so they realize that the only way that this is going to work is if the two work together, and that's what happens. And then, of course, King Kong ends up showing up in the book here and helps them out. But before that, we get Hal Jordan creating his own giant mecha suit to help out. And of course, the girls are Supergirl, Wonder Woman are trying to help out too, hold the creature down. And so while this is all going on, the big super battle, we have, I believe this is Barry. I don't think it's Wally. Basically, and the heroes are now getting caught up to speed of what's going on because they didn't know that Amanda Waller's dead. Batman learned earlier in the very first page, he learned that Amanda Waller's dead. Because Harley tells him. But Barry here just learned now too, and she's like, and they're all like, yeah, we're sorry, we tried shooting you with a kryptonite bullet, Peacemaker's even, yeah. He's like, we're under new orders from a new guy, and he's worse than Waller, This guy just doesn't give a crap about us. It's like his policy is every supervillain now has to have a bomb in their neck, where Waller was just kind of like more laxed, which is kind of weird because Waller's always been a really tough ass, or tough villain to me. She comes off as a villain more than on the level, not Joker level, but more like an evil, more like a Lex Luthor type. Whatever serves her purpose, she does. So this book is a lot of action. You're getting a lot of monsters fighting. Superman is on the growth serum, and just when they're on the ropes, like I said, King Kong shows up to help them out, and while they're fighting, and they're wondering how long Superman's growth serum, monster serum, will last to allow him to be that big, and help fight. Meanwhile, Lex Luthor's down there at the lab here, and they're trying to work on a device for the new guy. He's in charge, and he's getting impatient. And the other ones are people are kind of questioning him too, like, why are we here? This is stupid, So basically that's all it is. It's just basically a knuckle dragging, or basically a knockdown, beatdown fight. And then, of course, at the end here, it gets worse because, Superman's growth serum wears off, but just in time because Mr. Terrific shows up and he's worked on two more. He perfected the gas, so he's going to give Superman more of the gas to basically to become big again. The only problem is that they've already lost the advantage, and the Godzilla and went to retreat to recuperate, and then King Kong got knocked into the underground again, or the underworld. So they're gonna recoup. And then those aren't reading KO. That's a lot of books. As I said, that's what I don't like about these events. It's going through March, which means for me, since any books are in there that I don't give a crap about, or as far as what's coming up in December, I got Night Fight. Is probably I'll be picking that DCKO Night Fight, and then Aquaman 12 was supposed to be another tie-in, but so far the Aquamans haven't really tied in that much. They've been their own separate stories. Those ways here, and then there's Superman 33, which I'm skipping kind of Superman this until it's done. This week's issue, I did read it, and I just didn't really care. I mean, it was a DCKO tie-in, but I don't give a crap about the event that's going on. All I know is that Superwoman, aka Lois Lane, has her powers back, and she fought against one of the legions, twisted Darkseid legions, along with Superboy Prime, and they're gonna try and get this data that they got from Hidden Archive in the the Fortress of Solitude, to get to Superman so they can try and like save the universe. But yeah, here's a Night Fight. There's a cover. Yeah, it's also art by Dan Mora, and it's written by Josh Williamson. That's the only reason I'm getting this tie-in, because this actually just feels cool by itself. You don't need to read any. I read it without even reading the first issue of DCKO. But all right, number 6 this week is Flash Gordon number 13. All right, and we're getting a self narration from the beginning here. A Flash Gordon playing football and talking about how people underestimated him. He's a quarterback and he threw the ball and he ended up getting sacked and he ended up with some cracked ribs and a hairline fracture in his arm. But he didn't tell the coach that. He said he fought the pain and he basically he learned how to basically fake it until you make it. Be the confidence that you want. And he's basically getting the whole thing about how he's has a strong self-confidence. He's willing to do whatever it takes. And this leads into him and basically into waking up, and he's held captive. He was trying to pose as his evil self on the Mongol City on the alternate reality where his evil self was, because they basically swap places. So he's trapped there, and it's Zarkov was the second in command. Doesn't believe that he's really emperor. So then he basically says, like, I have to be what I usually don't like being. I have to act like Ming. I have to act like, a jerk. And he does, and pretty much threatens to kill Zarko. He says, like, if you don't release me now, I'm going to murder you, pretty much. And I love it because this is very much like a Peter Quill story type, just bullshitting your way through everything and hoping it all comes out for the best. I guess that's a current Star-Lord MCU thing, that trope they've been doing. But he's learning more about the portal and how they're able to originally the evil Flash was able to get over to his universe. So he said, "I'm gonna do one thing better and he's gonna solve all my problems. He's gonna take an army, Flash's evil army, and let them believe that they're invading to go stop Ming on the good planet and go conquer another world." So he's gonna use the evil Flash's army against them. And in order to keep this going, he basically leads Zarkov in the trap, and then basically because he can't trust him, and he goes and he meets with Ming, and basically tells Ming, it's like, hey, once we're through the portal, destroy the portal, so our worlds will never be connected again. So you don't have to worry about a threat of the evil Flash Gordon or his army is coming back, and you'll be able to have peace on this earth. Seems very noble. So we get a lot of So when they go through, and then they take over the portal generator. So this is also by Jeremy Adams. If you have not been reading any Flash Gordon, Jeremy Adams has been really good on this. This is also this is it's actually not the Will Conrad. Usually Will Conrad does it, but this is Eater Messias with Tom Jenrick. Usually it's Will Conrad doing the art, but Will Conrad's not on the interior for this one, taking a day off. Meanwhile, Evil Flash is on the good Flash Gordon's Earth and is pretty much annoyed because the good Zarkov will not help him, and he's belittles and knocks him down. The evil Ming comes in, wants to know what the process is. He's like, I can't work with this bullshit, It's like, I need someone better. And then, of course, just as in the middle of the conversation, there comes the good Flash Gordon coming through the portal, going to rescue his friends and take on Ming and his army. And then we get a preview for the next issue, number 14. And it shows the evil Flash Gordon and the good Flash Gordon. Evil Flash Gordon and evil Oh, what's her name? Dane, I think. I can't remember what her name is. they haven't said his issue. It's been a while since I read it, but anyway, fun book. It's gonna come back to me. I know it. Like I'm gonna be like, oh, yeah, that's the name. Yeah. I want to say Darla, but it's not it either. All right, top 5. Let's go on the chat here. Guys got all kind of stalled here. Just one turkey tonight, eh? That's why we invited you, Jackson. You are our turkey. All right, number 5. Feral, Part 18. They got the Youngblood variants. Only reason I don't care for Youngblood, but I got it because this is kind of a cool cover, like a superhero book cover variants for the cats in this book. Yeah, it's adorable. You have to like it. If you don't like it, you get issues. So it starts off outside of Pet City, and we're showing the humans again. Dale, that's what it was. Yeah, Dale, Dame, yeah. All right. So outside of Pet City, the town here, we can finally get to see more humans again. Whenever we see humans in this book, they're out there and they're basically killing off all the infected animals. And the dude's like, hey, we should probably go down there. And he's like, I don't want to, dude, I hate going in close spaces. All the freaking animals. It's just disgusting. It's gross. He's like, dude, yeah, but it's our job. We have to go down there. He's like, So they're already set up the fact that where the cats are now, the good cats, it just defeated the other bad cats. It took it over the Pet City store. And now the humans are on their way down there to basically eradicate any infected animals. The problem is, though, they are taking out not just infected, but ones that aren't, because they don't know which ones are infected or not. So they're just basically going down there and we're killing all the animals. So, because people were ordered, there's a big rabies outbreak, and they're told to basically leave their cats behind, all their pets, because they're not safe. So, so it starts off with Gigi and her kids, and then we have the other stray cat. I forgot who says what his name is. Lucky. That's what his name is. Lucky. So Lucky, he's the one that was helping the house cats from the ridge. The lower. Is that Leslie? I think her name was, or Nessie and Lord, love Flipper Britches, and he was protecting them. He'd also protect that Gigi and her kittens in there, and so basically he was protecting them. And then he has his dog Mush, who basically somehow was able to tear apart infected animals, but not get infected himself. So maybe he had his rabies shot. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But he does his rounds and talks to the other cat in the back, because before when they took over, these cats were having the mothers have kittens, and they'd wait till they got to a certain type of age, and then they would just eat the kittens, because they can't survive they're running out of food. So and the guy describes is like, well, we have these cans here, but we can't open the cans. That's all cat food. They're not able to open it up. So say bunch of parents just started eating the kittens, and it's just like, it was like cannibalism. Lucky doesn't like it. He's disgusted by it, and he says, like, well, the other cats. He said, what the guy is there. He's basically left over. The guy who was helping with the butchering all the animals. He spared his life, and he says, he's like, well, we used to eat the dry cat food, but then we're out of that. So then we ate all the fish, and we tried eating the dog food, but a lot of cats couldn't stomach it. And Lucky said that's because you guys are pussies. It's pretty much, it's like, it's like you've never been outside, you never had to eat what you didn't like and just eat it. It's called, grow up. Of course, then Lucky starts trying to manipulate Lord, and makes Lord his second in command. and he's asking, "Where's Elsie?" And it's like, "Oh, Elsie's over here." And then he's just basically trying to make everybody hate Elsie. He's trying to find Elsie because he doesn't trust her, because he knows that Elsie's going to thwart him. Elsie knows he's there's bullshit. Um, then it gets really creepy. He goes up to Lord's friend, the girl that they met at the old lady's house when they're taken in for shelter, and he's like, "Oh, he wants to know." It's like, "Oh, all right." She's like, "No." She's like, "Are you looking for Elsie?" He's like, "No, not necessarily. I can always know where she is. Elsie is. We're not that close." And he's like, "The little quiet one, is that your guy?" And she's like, "Who?" I'm like, "Who, Ghost?" He's like, "Oh." He's like, "It's not like that. We're friends." "Oh yeah." He's like, "Here, why don't you come be friends with me? Let's get it on." Like, yeah. Of course, the kids come up to one of the other cats, who worked with the mother, and he's all depressed. And the cats are making fun of him. Lucky shows up, and then they start. He ends up hitting one of Lucky's kittens, and they're like, "What the heck, dude?" It's like, "Hey, why are you pushing me?" He's like, "That hurt." And he's like, she's like, "I'm telling my mom." He's like, "You do that. She knows it. She knows you kittens are liars anyway." And then he tries wants to know why aren't the other cats, from the ones that took over, why aren't they doing their share of the work now? We're in charge. You do what we say. You clean up. Otherwise we'll stick our dog on you. Gigi shows up and confronts Lucky on his bullshit, calling him a liar. It's like, it's like, I know when my cats are lying, our kittens when they lie and when they don't. And it's like, why are you doing this? And they pretty much have a little spat back and forth. After he leaves, Elsie comes out hiding and she says, "Dude, I've been watching him all day. He's trying to manipulate everybody. He is an asshole. We can't trust him. We need to leave." She's like, "We can't leave." And she's like, she's like, it's complicated. She's like, "Look, Elsie, I don't want to do this, because they've had a fight before." She's like, it's not that simple. It reveals that she's actually pregnant. Lucky knocked her up. Unlucky at him, and unlucky for her. And of course, we have the cats in the back. So you can and that's cool. You go to fatsgirlcatscomic to Gmail, and you can send photos of your cats, and they'll put them in the book. So it's like The Walking Dead with cats. That's pretty much what it's come down to. All right. 3, 4. Number 4 for me this week is Immortal Legend Batman. All right. If you haven't followed this is Kyle Higgins of Matt Groom. This is Elseworlds Batman. This is basically a Batman Common Rider kind of type. And the first thing I'm looking at this cover here, and I'm gonna point out Poison Ivy, cool. Because every issue he's been going against a villain from the Batman gallery. This is Bruce Wayne as Batman. Bruce is basically taking on the mantle. He was trained by Thomas Elliott's father to be the new Batman. And of course, we still don't know who Robin and the Nightwing are, but they know that they have these devices that allow them to take on these shadow creatures that they came out of this portal and stuff, and they've been plaguing mankind. This place, also goes through like a space travel too as well, because this is a much more advanced Earth. It's as far as I don't know what the state of the Earth is, but it's like if you ever watch Cowboy Bebop, they have all these different space colonies and different planets, and so they go to a unsettled planet, Classification 6, and there's these monsters that are pretty much trying to attack a ship. As Alfred points out, it's like, it defies reason, but these creatures are managed to do damage to the ship, Master Bruce. He's like, they're not shadows, Alfred, but they're not normal either. He's like, so they're having problems. They're fearing the ship's going to get destroyed. Batman decides to jump out of the ship, tells Alfred to go up into orbit, and as he goes down, he basically morphs. It says, become the night. That's the key phrase he says, and then it transforms him into Batman. And so the art here is really good. I'm loving the storytelling. He doesn't have to be. It's not meant to be Batman and Gotham City and all that stuff. It's just basically an Elseworlds Batman. One of the Batman was Interstellar, like like a Power Ranger kind of type Kamen Rider. So now he's on this planet, and he realizes that the comms have been jammed, but also he gets attacked by this bear. And after me showing off Feral, you're like, what the heck? Oh, another bear that's infected. And there's batarangs, and he pulls a hole through the back of the bear, taking the bear down. And then, the fuck is this? This isn't Poison Ivy. But it's revealed that at the end of this issue, it's revealed that the Shadows creatures. Bruce basically had tried in this book or the past. He had tried to do this new type of training experiment, and it failed, and it caused to create shadow versions of himself. These are the rogues that he's fighting. They're shadow versions of him that are like, there's an Enigma version. There is there was a Bane. Now we're getting a Poison Ivy, but they're all Bruce. That's why it's not a female. It's if Bruce was Poison Ivy, that kind of persona. And they all know he's coming out, and he infects Bruce with the poison toxin, and Bruce starts hallucinating and then he starts hearing Alfred's voice, and it's telling how he's a disappointment, and so he should have died in the alleyway. Everything that shouldn't be is being said. So he basically cuts off communication. He realizes that's fake. We get to see a little bit of his childhood. When he comes to school after his parents are murdered, goes at the recess, and he's all excited to go outside. See him running, and then he sees kids whispering about him. And then he says, "Oh, this kid Jake," and then it's like, yeah. Dude kind of like, yeah, I'm sorry about your mom and dad. He's like, yeah, it's kind of cool though, right? He's like, what? No parents telling you what to do, and you get all their money, right? He's like, dude, could you buy me a car? So Bruce is like, oh, what the fuck? And it's kind of like, leaves. And then we're cut back to here. And basically, Bruce ends up outsmarting him, this shadow creature, who really just goes very flamboyant, let's say. I still wish it would have been Poison Ivy, but it's not Poison Ivy. It's a Poison Ivy Bruce, kind of the Poison Man. And Bruce ends up outsmarting him by having, because the guy gloats. Says like, dude, you should have brought backup. You would have been fine. He's like, what makes you think I didn't bring backup? And of course, the villain brings him all the way over to like this plant where he says like, where he put it, which he infected Bruce from. There's no cure. It's like, says you're going to die here alone, the only real person on this planet, but that's appropriate, isn't? Because we always hated people, always wanted to get away from them. That's what becoming the Immortal Knight legend was all about, wasn't it? A noble reason to retreat from society into your cave behind your mask to become more than a weak mortal person, where you only had to deal with two other people, your partners, but you pushed them away too. I see. You finally did it. It's like, and it's really, he's like, dude. Bruce is like, that's who I was before, but that's not who I am anymore. But it's I can ask for help. In fact, before I came to this planet, I did ask for help. You can see his little watchtower comes up here, satellite, and and it freezes everything with a freeze ray from space. That's right, because you know who's going to show up next. And he pretty much does a little signature move and takes out the shadow creature. And as he goes to space, it's revealed it's Mr. Freeze. It's been helping him out. It's like, and Bruce is like, thank you for coming. He's like, well, you didn't kill me when you probably should have. I figure helping out is the least I can do. He's like, dude, you don't owe me anything, but I do appreciate assistance. On that note, were your experiments successful? He's like, yes, come see. And he was able to create this gem for him. Did a little deal with them. It says like, the universe's first synthetic crystal and Henshinite, which I'm not really familiar with Common Writer, so I'm not sure what that is. He's like, yeah. And the Frias goes on to says, and I believe the only Henshinite in the universe not in possession of Luther Unlimited. Do you think he'll need these to use it? Or do you think he'll need to use it? He's like, maybe, but I want to be prepared either way. So Bruce is going back to Gotham after this in the next issue. Yeah. And yeah. On the moon, Jamir says here, he says he's confronted by the Robin and Nightwing. And pretty much he says, they confront him about him doing the ritual, trying to he's probably trying to shed his weakness, but instead he basically created rogue versions of himself with the shadow creatures. It backfired him. And the reason he said he didn't reach out to them for help is because he felt it was his problem. He created, he didn't want to burden him with that. But now he realized I was wrong. And they're gonna have a team up finally. I think that might be the final issue. I'm not sure how many issues this is gonna be, but this is issue 4, so probably a 5 issue, if not for lucky 6. For an Elseworld story, this has been really fun. I recommend it. If you're looking for a Batman title outside of the main 2 stories, and especially if you're like me, not liking the main Batman writers, I guess Tom Taylor's on detective, and then you have Matt Fraction, who is pretty much killing the book, in my opinion. Not killing, as in a sense slang, but making it unreadable. So, all right, that was my number 4. This is my number 3, going into the Invisible Man. This is the final issue of the miniseries here, and I guess this is the 1 in 10. And yeah, it's a hard cardboard stock cover, not your normal floppy, and does have the glossy pages in the inside. Last issue, basically, Jack had decided to experiment on a homeless kid and turn him invisible, but the homeless kid escaped. And now he fears for his life because he's afraid that just like the cat that stalked him earlier, if they turned invisible, that it's going to come and try to attack him. Because the one thing about the serum, it makes the person way smarter than it also makes it crazy. The movie made him crazy, but he's kind of like fearing for his life. So when he hears something down there, guy knocked over stuff, he thinks it's the kid. And he basically decides to plan ahead because he doesn't know when the kid's going to show up, but he realizes the kid's going to try to get vengeance on him. So he prepares, and I love this like splash page. So we get it. This is James Tinian on here too, with Danny as the artist and Brad Simpson as I think the letter or the colors, probably the letter. But talks about how how the kid has all this freedom. He can go do what he wants. No one can see him. He can take what he wants. Get revenge. He's mad. He's probably getting revenge on the people at the orphanage that beat him, the nuns, going after the cops that were basically beat him up, that were corrupt. They don't like him. Meanwhile, he's eating dinner, and he just talks about, he just relishes on how much he wants that control, that power and stuff. Yeah, and one day a note comes, and he's like, "What?" And he's like, "A note." And he's like, and his fiance's father says, like, try not to burn this one. He's like, "Burn this? What do you mean burn this?" He's like, "You can't smell the papers burning in the furnace." He rushes in there, and the kid has finally returned to found his office and burned all his notes about how for the formula. And he kind of planned for this. So basically, and he's like, he said, I know exactly what to do next to take up this kid. But the note that the kid had left him from Tommy, it said, "You have made me nothing, and so I will too make you nothing. I will take your life from you, piece by piece, and there's nothing that you can do to stop me." So, taking precautions, he leaves a note for his wife or fiance, and also the doctor, her father, Mr. Crowley, and decides to go into a research lab and puts up a flower on the windowsills everywhere, so he can. And he does it every day because he knows that the kids are there or not. It's a level of precaution, you know. And he's like, he said, and on his mind, I love this. It's him just narration. He's just Jack is he is very very depraved individual, you know. It's like how baffled the kid must have been when I failed. He says here, I was certain that Tommy had underestimated. I imagine him lurking unseen in the corner of Cranley. I said Crowley before. Cranley's sitting room. Perhaps he managed that he would be throttled my bride to be in front of me, and that I would just have rushed to her side, protect her the moment understood his plot against me. He must be baffled how when I failed to arrive, when my absence continued, how angry he must be to be outwitted by me once more. I like to imagine his rage, the recognition he had been bested by me, that he had no idea where it was. The fool, the damn fool, to think he got away, maybe to think he was better, and he decides to inject himself with the serum this time. So now he's like, so now it's gonna be Invisible Man versus Invisible Boy, and he sits in the room and he waits for the kid to come in, because remember you put all the powder on there, and he sits in the corner and now invisible, and he puts up a little dummy. So the kid comes in and goes to strangle him to realize that he was wrong, that he's not there, so he takes a bag of flour and he pours it on himself or on the kid, and so you can see the kid, and he fights him, knocks him down, and they run in the alleyway, and he picks up a brick. And he's like, and the kid, like, and he's like, the kid's like, oh shit! He knocks on the door, help me, please! And he's like, what a foolish child you are! And it's like, and he hits him in the back of the head with a brick again, knocking the kid down, injuring him. And I love the snow on top of this. It really just makes these pages just pop. And Jim just basically telling the kids, like, you could have ruled the world and stuff. And it's like, the kid's like, you're insane. It's like, you did this, you robbed me. No one could see me. The joy on my lips, to see the color of my eyes. I'll never be tenderly loved because no one can see me. You're rude. It's like when how I could get my vengeance on you. I thought about bringing it all to doing it to all you, but you need a soul to feel the pain. He's like, you don't have a full soul. And the kid says, like, you were always a monster, but you can't pretend you're anything but now. Like, no human eyes, whatever, will look at you tenderly. You'll be alone for the rest of your life. And he literally says, like, the kid says, the only cure for what you've done to me is death. I read your notes, understood them. There's no way back. So cure me and damn yourself to solitude. And he basically strangles the kid, kills him. And by doing this, allows the kid to become seen again, visible, puts him up against the door there, and leaves him there after people discover his dead body. He gets on a train and he says, like, hey, sir, is there anywhere I can go if lodging anywhere near? And of course, the guy on the train says, there is. It's called the Lion's Head. And we all know about the Lion's Head. In the beginning of the movie, he arrives and he gets himself a room, and then, it takes off from there. And it's pretty much how the book is going to wrap up, with him arriving there in the Lion's Head. And he says, towards the end of the book, he says about there will be a cure, because he said, I'll cure myself, and then I'll be able to become visible and invisible at my leisure. That's his goal. Where in the movie, he was pretty much just wanting to cure himself to be seen again. But he's also losing his mind. definitely recommend this series. There should be a trade out next year, probably in spring, I'm guessing. This is a very fun book. If you're a Universal horror fan or just love the Invisible Man series, is a nice little prequel series. I think I like so far. I've liked that and the Frankenstein one. Did not read the Dracula one, but they did release a black and white version, 2-issue black and white version of the 4 issues of the Dracula story, written by James Tynion. That was the first one that kicked off the Universal books. So I do recommend looking at that. Avoid the Mummy. The Mummy was not that great. Creature of Black Lagoon was okay, but yeah. All right. Number 2 is Green Lantern. Another fun book. This is better than anything that I came out for a DC KO. This is Oliver Queen teaming up with Hal Jordan. And it's just everything you'd want. Oliver was breaking this place. He was about to get his ass kicked. He jumps out a window, and he gets saved by Hal, who creates this like giant like cat to catch him. He's like, oh, how humiliating stuff. He's like, oh, you need help? Okay, let's go up here. So then I hear it's like ding, and he's like, an elevator? What the heck? He's like, yeah, for 15 leisure wear suits and my favorite beatings and confessions. He's like, that's my floor. This is so tongue-in-cheek humor from Jeremy Adams. It's just been fun. You have Domenico, Domenico doing the art here, and we get afterwards, after they take out the goons, they have a little conversation. We get a little bit of at least Oliver realizes something wrong with Hal. Hal says, because in a previous issue we saw this, that he touched this book of Oa, and it caused him to have these visions. And Oliver's like, dude, if you need help, he's like, no. And Hal's like, no. Classic Hal. Says, oh, I don't need any help. I'll let you know. And he's like, So he says, it's like, so as they're she's like, they're in a bar. They see these two guys are picking on this other little guy. He's like, and Hal's like, $10. I can take one more than you can. He's like, Oliver's like, dude, you don't have but $10, first of all, and then you're on, but no powers. He's like, dude, no powers. So at the end, see them both punching the same guy. He's like, I hit him, but I hit him harder. Just kind of, I love their relationship. Jeremy Adams really understands that. So as they're going through, they come across this signal. He's like, so, and it says like, a company called Omega Construction began buying up properties around their office. And quick, a little back. And Terrific's talking to him. He says, interesting about the time Darkseid exploded on the Watchtower. That was basically the DC con. He says, now classic DC all-in special. And it says, Darkseid Omega's construction. That's heck of a coincidence, says Hal. Yep. So they go in. They go into the store, and I love the art on this. It's just so great. Kind of cyberpunk, kind of a little bit. And then, of course, opens up the door with a little Gatling gun, blowing it open. And he's like, And of course, immediately as they open it up, they're attacked by a barrage of fire. Because it's robots. Of course, it's robots. And lightning and all that stuff. All that fun stuff. Yeah. Well, yeah, because she shoots an arrow. And the funny thing about this is they're fighting the robots, and it's like, and so basically, he's like, because how else that would be easy? He's like, you had to open your big mouth. And he's like, what, robot guards? Is like, and Oliver's like, I hate robots, and like I was like, I'm telling Richard Nato and Our Man and all the metal men. He's like, and Oliver's like, are you done? He's like, hold on, I think there's a few more I gotta tell. Yeah, so he fires the EMP arrow, taking out the robots, and they get this kind of like they're still having their little banter going through, and then they're trying to figure out why this room's empty, and they figure there's gonna be a secret door. He uses his ring powers to basically to push down anything that might be a hatch, and well, they decide to jump in. Because that's what you do in the arrow. You just jump into things and not knowing what's in there. And they come across this like Sentinel activated robot. And of course, they learn about him. Basically some rich people were building a doomsday, or basically not a doomsday, but what do you want to call it? A bunker to ride out the war and stuff to try and survive in. But so because they then she's like, so then he says, I am the culmination of years of research of enhancing meta abilities with bleeding edge technology. Last year I became active. I became aware. There's something coming, something changing. Earth. Omega Construction was formed with one task: to create an apocalypse-proof bunker for those that afford it. And he's like, and Hal's like, why are you just giving all this information up? He's like, to delay you, because Big Mechanique is coming out now. And they're like, oh, fuck. So none of Oliver is like, dude, my arrows aren't really working. He's like, oh, and Hal's like, really? He's like, he's like, your arrows aren't working? I got you. And he's like, why are you smiling? What do you have in mind? He's like, oh, you're going to love it. And this is where I love this. You said you want an arrow. Here's a big giant bow and arrow for you. It's like, and he just fires it, takes out, and it, the second one gets him though, because he has an arrow inside the construct, but inside it is actually Oliver's arrow. So when he destroys the light construct, yeah. This causes the giant explosion here, digging on the robot. Yep, it's going with the green guys, and then this kind of bonding. At the end, Terrific kind of gives them an update, and then so they're gonna look into everything. And and he's like, he's like, well, what's next? Like, I don't know. Some way I got to piece together that mystery of what's on my head. He's like, Quinn's like, I know he's your frenemy and all, but there's that one guy who might help you figure it out. He's good at puzzles. He's like, oh man, but he's just so brooding. And they laugh because they're talking about Batman. So Hal Jordan, next issue is going to Gotham. He's like, so I get a look here, little art here, and they're talking, and he's like, I freaking hate Gotham. It's like, it's like, so I said, this has been like a really fun book with Jeremy Adams. All the people who were shit on him for Aquaman stuff, either you're just a cranky old person, or you're just doing it for whatever, because it's a cool thing to hate on things that are good. But overall, this has just been fun for Green Lantern. I love Jeremy on Flash, like him on Green Lantern just as much. And Aquaman has been kind of hit or miss for me. I'll say that it has its issues, but I think it's working out. People are too quickly to judge on a series a few issues in, and right off, and like, oh, it's the worst ever. And then like when they say something's going to happen, they're always eating their own, their own words. But definitely recommend. This is if you have not picked this book, just for a little short story. Even if you're not reading the main story, it's just a fun, cool team up story. It's kind of like a Justice League Unlimited adventure or something like that. If you want to talk about, think of like that kind of terms. But number one book of the week. I keep hearing Jeremy, but it's not my Jeremy. It's, of course, it's not Jeremy Jordan. We're talking about Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan's better. Number 1 for me is Geiger, number 18, by Jeff Johns. You'll notice that Gary Frank is listed there, but Gary Frank's not on the actual interior this week. Well, actually, it is. I lied. So they actually brought in Eduardo Pansica to do the first 18 pages. The 19th through 22 is Gary Frank. So Gary Frank's not doing the art, like the whole entire interior art. This makes me think that they're giving Eduardo Pansica a shot to basically try him out, and then he might. So I'm wondering if this guy's going to show up on a new Ghost Machine book in the future, in a future title. But you get Norm Rathbun doing the ink, and then you have Robert Nugent also doing some as a colorist, and then Brad Anderson also doing some coloring. Starts off 25 years from now. I guess from 2050, I guess, or I'm not sure. But this guy's talking about he basically he wants to go to the prison where Geiger's being held right now. And he says there's treasure there. So what we're gonna do is I got a guy on the inside. While Geiger is being tortured, we're gonna make it look like he or frame him. So basically, their plot is the guard's gonna shoot a guy and blame it on Geiger. And of course, that's exactly what happens. Geiger's in there. So far, Tariq's his flames have not been working. He doesn't have control of his rods. This guard shows up. He says, "You know what? Kill the dude." Oh, he's like, "I won't kill him." He's like, "Okay, I'll just shoot him anyway. I'll just tell the warden that you killed him, and then you'll go to the chair." Because that's their whole goal. Because they're gonna get whatever the warden will use the electric chair. It shorts out the security cameras around the prison. This allows the other crew to sneak in, and they said like when your radiation suits, because he's gonna go nuclear if he gets electrocuted, and they figure let everyone else die while you guys radiation suits. Go down there, and get me my treasure. And they're like, okay, because that's kind of what happens. And just overall, Tariq is just being electrocuted, and they're down there, and they sneak in. And of course, well, they stop the chair, and they're like, okay. And the doc checks, well, dude, he's still got a heartbeat. He's like, what the heck? Hit him again. And they do this. Of course, this brings out the hidden powers he had, the atomic flames of the glowing man that had been dormant. And now he's pissed off, and the guys down there, they find the treasure. He goes nuclear, pretty much. He's now, and I just love this. They're like, oh shit, and he's like, why did you do this? I was fine. I wasn't glowing at all. Because Tariq is basically tormented now because now his powers are back and he can't control them. And guy's like, oh, well, Goldbeard, it was for, and he's like, and he just kills him, instantly kills him. Upstairs, or downstairs in the prison basement, they find the box, and they're freaking out because like, dude, the walls are coming apart because he's melting everything. Inside, what Goldbeard wanted was the last hidden remaining proof that he was a father, because the guy is sentimental, misses his family. The drawing that his kid drew, and that's kind of like ironic because Tyreek is the same thing. He also doesn't have a family, And then of course he goes. Tariq basically goes after the warden. And like, what are you? And he's like, what are you? Is he melting? He's like, I don't know. And the explosion goes off. He's like, stop. He's like, I want this to stop. And just melts the dude. But he's like, I can't control it though. And he's freaking out. He's like, and he just goes nuclear as he starts. He said, because he was talking. One of the guys who told him, or Ashley said, is like, one of these days, you're going to keep glowing, and eventually you're going to explode. You're not going to survive. And he's worried about that because he can't control the glowing. So then, you know. And he's just freaking out, and pretty much as he's giving up on life because he figures it's his moment he's gonna die because he doesn't have his rods to basically to stop him from glowing and going nuclear, and he sees his wife in the flash of his kids outside the bunker, and they appear to be in the afterlife. They said it's not your time, go back, and he's like, "What, Tracy? What?" And he's like, And as he's laying there on the ground, getting ready just to be, all of a sudden, click clink, a roof. His who shows up? His best dog, the 2-headed dog, Wolf, named Barney, shows up and gives him his rods. Just a fantastic book. Here's a preview. Ashley Arden returns. The variant cover by Jim Lee. Yay! In December. So. Yep, and then we can also get Geiger Volume 1, Number 3. We get a little brief synopsis of Bonnie Borden. It tells you about her, who she is. And at the end, after that page here, we got we're updating everything now on the map. The map is slowly getting filled out, which I'm kind of liking. So this is so now 25 years now, Geiger walks across America. Now that's filled in. 25 years now, but wasn't there before. And now they're filling in a timeline. And back of the book shows you everything that came out this month. So these are the books from Ghost Machine that GP picking up. Rogue Exodus, Red Coat. They just dropped Volume 2 trade, so you can easily go catch up with that. Geiger, and then you have now we have the new Red Coat number 15, which is a new story arc. You can also get Geiger Volume 4 trade drop this week, and then also Hornsby and Halo number 12 also. And they also have all their merch in the back too, as far as you can get coffee if you want by them. And then the hats and stuff. I might reach out and see how much their shirts are, their hats. Yeah. And then of course, if you want to sign up for the news thing, all you can do is scan with your phone in there. Yeah. And then Hyde Street, yeah. Advertisement that. Trade Paperback Volume 1 is gonna be on sale now. So, and of course, Geiger, hottest book of the year, hardcover, collects 1 through 9. Yeah. So if you haven't checked out this series, I definitely recommend. But that is it for this week, though, for my books. Excuse you, princess. It says, good. Then I don't want to hear you saying how Jeremy Jordan is your man. For those who don't know who Jeremy Jordan is, I've never discovered the wonderful joy of knowing Jeremy Jordan and his wonderful, amazing voice. Jeremy Jordan played Winslow Scott over on CW Supergirl. He was the Toyman's son. And arguably the best character on that show. And he gets screwed over. Guy was pining over after Supergirl and said she went with Jimmy Olsen. Yeah, and then that didn't work out, and then but he worked out well for him. He got Saturn Girl. He joined the Legion of Superheroes. I like it when you say that. It always makes me laugh. Excuse me, princess. Yeah. That's it. I know we have 7 people watching, but only a few are actually talking. So for those who aren't chatting right now, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And if you haven't been reading any books, or maybe you're out of the hobby right now, you think Marvel and DC sucks. For the most part, true about Marvel. Marvel right now, it doesn't have that many good books out. Other than Punisher by Benjamin Percy, which has been really good. It's a little miniseries. There's a new ongoing that he's going to be doing in February, so that looks really good. If you want to check out Moon Knight's been fun as well too. That's being rebooted again. That's one thing about Marvel does. Marvel reboots the same freaking title with a new subtitle and the same creative team and a number one. It drives me nuts because, well, now you're like, okay, which one is this a new series? No, it's just the same series, same storyline. It's just they decided like we can make more money by tricking people and think it's a number one and give you 30 different variants. That's how Marvel stays afloat, by variants. DC right now, like I said, you saw the books I showed up here. Usually Justice League Unlimited is really good. I just don't care for the story events. Superman's been fun as well, by Josh Williamson. And then I'm trying to think what else. Mark Waid and Dan Moore are on Justice League Unlimited. Aquaman by Jeremy Adams. Green Lantern also has it. Yeah. Not true. Each new writer artist team since Bendis on Iron Man gets a new number one. Do you know how long ago that was, Marania? That was like 10 years ago. That's what I'm saying. Marvel has been shitty for a long time. Yeah. Yeah. So as far as recommends, go and check out Ghost Machine. Check out Mad Cave Studios if you want to check out Flash Gordon, Dick Tracy. Check out the Energon universe over at Skybound. Skybound's been kicking ass. I've been really enjoying that series. They got Transformers, G.I. Joe, Void Rivals tying in. They're all tied in now. Before they kind of started up separately. Now they're intertwined. You got Transformers and G.I. Joes and Transformers. Transformers and Void Song. Or not Void Song, not Void Song, but Void Rivals. And then you also have some of the Cobra creature villains and Void Rivals. It has just been a great year for comic books. In general, for independent books, I'd say. DC has been doing better with their Absolute Universe. Absolute Batman did come out, but I just not really sold on that book. I only got the couple issues prior because I liked there's a Catwoman cover and stuff. But yeah, very indie this for me lately. But also, there's a lot of back issues you should read too as well. You can get those. You can either use it on Humble Bumble, you use it as digital copies, or if you want to pick up, go to your local comic store. They just released, for those who was wanting to read the post-crisis, which is basically the 30 years of Superman. They went from like 86 to like 2011, I think it was, before New 52. They have the Triangle years finally collected and on the business, and you can get them pretty cheap. Go to In Stock Trades if you want to. That's another site I've usually go through. But yeah, as far as new books coming out, I'm really looking forward to Punisher in February, and I think there was another one too. Hold on a second. Oh yeah, we're gonna have Archie and the Army of Darkness by Eric Burnham. That's supposed to be coming out sometime next year so. My phone probably won't do it justice, but probably won't. It's probably too bright. Yeah. So that one, and then here's the other cover I saw. Yep. And then here's you guys want to see the Punisher one. This is the new Punisher title by Benjamin Percy. It's not good. It's the best you're gonna get it. Go to League Comic Geeks if you want to look up these but yeah. Oh yeah, Maranya. I don't know if you saw this. I know I have Cheerwine. Here. They now sell Cheerwine at my local grocery store. I've never seen that in person before. I almost bought it. I was like, oh, it's got real cane sugar, though. I was like, ugh. I'm not a big fan of cane sugar. I like my artificial sugar very much. But, hey, Summer, what is going on? Happy Thanksgiving to you. And happy Thanksgiving to Give Me Daredevil. Which Daredevil do you want? The comic book version of Daredevil? Or are you talking about the TV show Daredevil? Charlie Cox. because I can see that. But I'm trying to think. All right. Anyway, though, but that's gonna be it for our stream. Unless you guys have any questions or comments or complaints or whatever, I can address. Cheer wine is pretty good. Cane sugar is number one for you, and not as sweet and as nasty corn syrup or the artificial nonsense. I could be Electro. You keep your chin up, Celeste. You can do it. I believe in you. Not, no. But got KO2, the variant cover, Plastic Man Eel, Brian Lobo, and the biggest Frager in the corner creation. Summer. I checked that out. I was not a fan of KO because all it was is just people being torn apart, and it was just utter like chaos. Now some people are like that, but it just felt kind of pointless to me. And I was just watching people being murdered. What Joker did in that book was not fun, and I don't care for kind of like evil Lex. I know he's not really evil, but still, it's like the whole tournament just sounds stupid, and I'm so confused because like I'm going into this book, and they're playing it looks like Superman or it's Clark, Bruce, Diana, and I think it's Lois, and they're playing a board game with their own superhero characters on it, and I'm like, is this story just a board game? Imagination sounds. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, and it just kind of just threw me off. So, that's cool, Geeky. I'm ending. So, but thanks for saying I'm here. I'm here too. You're there. Yeah, I wasn't going to read it, but looking at Plastic Man and Lobo in the same cover, I had to get it. That's the other thing too. It's like I'm expecting for the DCKOs to have like blind bags now, and just so they can just give you a blind bag cover and not get the cover you want, and then possibly get it dinged. But Judy got a Homer from my family dinner. Oh, well, congratulations to Judy and Homer. Yeah, great couple. But like I said, that is it for this week. I will see you guys tomorrow night. We're gonna read some X-Men 308 with a little Thanksgiving dinner celebration and a wedding proposal. I never read the issue before. Be take with a grain of salt. It is gonna be JR on it. That's gonna be for interior, and I believe it's Scott Lobdell doing the writing. But as far as the story, when the live stream starts, that's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. Professor Picture will be joining us, and I think the rest of the gang will do as well. But until then, you guys have a good night, and try not to eat too much, and just go take a nap. That's what I did. I had turkey, I had stuffing, and I just took a nap. Woke up around like 6 o'clock. And for those who are up here north of me, hope you guys are able to get as much food as you can and stuff supplies because we're getting 10 inches of snow on Saturday. Yay! And freezing rain on Sunday. So enjoy it while it lasts. We can travel or now. But all right, I'll see you guys later. And good night.